with trying to find the name for what this is. I said hallway. It is corridor, according to this card. And that still doesn't sound right. So there it is. It's a corridor. Corridor. There is what we can learn from card 245 about the TOS corridor. Here's a 1986 edition of the Fran Joseph Tech Manual, where we can see all the corridors we'd want, amongst so many other great geeky things. My favorite is just outlines of the bridge, places one can go. Again, these were used as images in TMP. A lot of fun to look at. Great to geek out. I can't find corridors right away, but I get this great bridge outline. So when you build your bridge at home, hey, there's the toilet. They should call it the head if they want to be real naval about it. But there we go. So that's I didn't even know why I wanted to share this with you. I feel that it's necessary, and there it is. The Starfleet Tech Manual. This is the 20-year edition from '86. Pretty sure I purchased it. Maybe new in the 90s. This is the 12th printing of the anniversary edition. So I'm pretty sure it was maybe 1990. So, all right. Thank you for indulging me in that story. Let's get to the cards. Well, I got to find one. Part of me wants to do the Wonder Woman trivia, but that will need to be another show. Finding other trivia outside Trek. Okay, maybe it's a Seen It day. I'm picking the 3-question Seen It card, and let us see what the offerings are. All right, hey, Where No Man Has Gone Before. Again, this has come up a few times as I do this show. I don't know what it is with the angle here, but I don't think I'm not complaining, mind you. All right, let's move it down here. Who does Gary Mitchell try to bury on Delta Vega? Well, he tries to bury James R. Kirk on Delta Vega. That's with the big rock. I've told this story before. I'm not going to get too far into it. You can watch, again, I think the season opener, season 2 of Lower Decks, does a nice tribute to the Gary Mitchell episode. And I guess we'll leave it. This is going to be a short one. I'm glad I went and just explored the tech manual some. And maybe when I get done with this card, we'll just look at it again for a few minutes, because it's a great thing. It's a great manual to geek out on. All right. James R. Kirk. Will the card say James R. Kirk? I wish it would, because that's what this is all about. Let's see what it says here. No. Pedestrian answer. It's James R. That's what the Tombstone said. Of course, the R stands for Roddenberry, right? That's what. Now's a good time for no one who leaves comments to list any Roman emperor with the name that begins with an R. Nothing comes to mind. Look at all the space in between the questions, too. I mean, they really... You really have a lot of extra space in the card. You could do 2 more questions. At least you can read it, as opposed to the tiny cards that prompted me to go and get a doc cam. All right. Deja Q. Next step. Okay, this is a 3rd season. This is the Deja Q is the episode where Q loses his abilities, and Corbin Bernsen of at the time L.A. Law fame, also a Paramount production on the same set, comes in and plays another Q. Here's what prompted this quote. Delancey as Q is trying to convince the crew that he's depowered. He has none of his Q abilities. And he goes, "What must I do to convince you?" And Worf says, "Die." Oh, very clever, Worf. Eat any good books lately? So that's Q to Worf. Fine episode. I got nothing bad to say about it. I did like the beat with Q and Data and Guinan. Or, you can learn a lot from this one, and so on and so forth. Okay, yeah, that's not a bad episode. Q learns a little, gains some humility. I think that was the lesson there. There it is. So that's Worf. That's not Worf. I'll turn it around at the end. We'll get back to that. Oh, there's a long one. What's going on here? Oh, yeah, the Ferris Bueller guy. So when I first saw Generations, I don't believe I ever saw Ferris Bueller. I was like 8 or 9 years old when they came out, 84, 85. Well, let's say one of those years. I'm thinking 84. So, that wasn't a big touchstone movie for me, Ferris Bueller. So I didn't really know Alan Ruck at the time, because everybody else was, oh, it's the Bueller, it's Cameron. I'm like, oh, whatever. This is a guy that, as I was watching the movie, had no business being a captain of a starship. That's for sure. That was my issue with Captain Harriman. Oh, I already answered the question. So it's Ferris Bueller, of course. So, so that beat didn't even occur to me until, and I imagine I watched Ferris Bueller sometime in my 20s, finally. And, yeah, it was an okay movie. I grew up, just like maybe an hour or two away from Chicago. So, I guess why I wouldn't know that movie, I guess I just didn't open that door. But for some reason, I watched Weird Science every day. So that's my 80 movies touchdowns. There, as a kid, so I lived in the small town, but then my grandparents had the HBO and would just tape these movies, and I'd take home the tapes. And I think one of them had, it was Weird Science and Commando on the same VHS. And I swear I must have watched those two movies every day for one summer. Both fine movies. Now I'm wondering if Commando and Weird Science didn't both take place in the same mall. It was the Galleria. Didn't they have a big mall scene in Weird Science as well? But I don't think that was the Galleria. That had not occurred to me until now. This is what the Springboard is about. That's a little magic moment. Do you think that the Commando world and the Weird Science world could share the same mall, and the mall could be this temporal place where, in one universe, these two guys just get picked on by Robert Downey Jr. and his friend, and in another world, Schwarzenegger's just killing people in the mall? Was Alyssa Milano? No, she was already kidnapped by that time. So it's Schwarzenegger just with Raydon Chong and the mall. And that creepy guy in Commando with the total 80s suit. It has these little sparkles on it. He's Sully. He was supposed to be killed last, but he was not. Hope someone out there appreciates my 1985 references when I talk about two fine movies, both at the time on the same videotape, Weird Science and Commando. That's a good mashup right there. So try that out, Stranger Things or whatever 80s series is going to come up next. So yeah, that was where the Springboard went from Ferris Bueller. Also, what Ferris Bueller features the voice of KITT from Knight Rider. What was his name? No, that's Anthony Daniels. That's C-3PO. Also on the series St. Elsewhere with Denzel Washington, and Howie Mandel was on St. Elsewhere, and I'm doing like 6 degrees to Trek. I'm getting to Ed Begley. That takes us to the Voyager episodes where they go back in time. Ed Begley Jr. is there as a tech CEO guy. There you go. How much can I stretch not knowing much about Ferris Bueller? There it is. I think I might have seen it twice in my life. I missed out on a lot of those 80s movies. I don't know why. Maybe they just weren't available. Like 16 Candles I never saw until I was probably in my 30s. I missed out on all those. What's the pirate movie? Why can't I think of the Goonies? I think I watched Goonies a lot, but I have not rewatched Goonies in my adult years. Don't know why. Just it hasn't happened. You think after Thanos I would have gone back and say, well, let's watch some Goonies. But no. That didn't happen. I feel like naming this round Goonies and Weird Science. I'll have to find some way to get it together there. All right, so I like that it springboard away from Trek. So it demonstrates to the no individual still watching this by this time that I do have a lot of 80s and 90s junk stuck in the headspace as well. So those... I'm reaching. We reach. That's my takeaway. I think I should end this. I mean, really, this one needs to end. But those are my feelings. I haven't thought about the Weird Science. Maybe we'll watch some Commando this evening. That's always a good movie. And Commando had the Freddie Mercury guy in there too. It's beautiful. All right, so let's follow the mouse to the little stop button because we're done. Maybe.